Hello everyone, my name is Vaishnavi Mahadev Vallekar. Today is a technical topic, so we are discussing onto the tissue. Then the tissue is defined as the group of the cells which having the similar structures, origin and the functions. Then the tissue is derived from the French verbs. Then the study of the tissue is called as a histology. Then the group of the cells is called as tissue. Then the tissue has the specialized functions into the human body. Then there are the different types of the tissue. The tissue is mainly classified. The tissue is mainly classified into the four types. First one, epithelial tissue. Second one, connective tissue. Uh, third one muscular tissue, and the fourth one, it is a nervous tissue. First one, epithelial tissue. The epithelial tissue is classified into the epithelial tissue is classified into the two types. The epithelial tissue are the those tissues which epithelial tissues are those tissues which presents onto the surface of the skins, intestines, stomach linings, etc. The epithelial tissues are those tissues which present onto the surface of the each organ cells are called as the epithelial tissue. The epithelial tissue are present all over. Epithelial tissues or the epitheliums are the group of the cells which presents onto the all over the skin surfaces or the organ surfaces. Then the epithelial tissues are classified into the two types, that is simple epithelial tissue and the stratified epithelial tissue. The stratified epithelial tissue is also called as the compound epithelial tissue. First one, the tissue is classified onto the two types on the basis of number of layers present onto the tissue. First one, simple epithelial tissue. The simple epithelial tissue are those tissues which includes the single layer of the cells. The simple epithelial tissue is again classified into the four types, that is squamous epitheliums, columnar epithelium, cuboidal epithelium and the ciliated epithelium. First one, squamous epithelium. The squamous epitheliums are the type of the epithelial tissue. The squamous epithelium consists the flat shaped cells. The squamous epithelial is present onto the blood vessels, etc. Then the main function of the squamous epithelial tissue, it is the osmosis, diffusion and the filtration. Second one, cuboidal epithelial tissue. The cube-like structures of the cells which having the single layer of the cube-like structures of the cells. Then the cuboidal epithelial tissue is present onto the glands. Then the function of the cuboidal epithelial tissue is the filtration and the absorptions. Then the columnar epithelial tissue, it consists the single layer of the column like cells. Then the columnar epithelial tissue is present onto the upper respiratory tract, it present onto the GIT. Then the main function is to secrete the mucosa. Then the ciliated epithelium, then the hair-like structures present onto the surface of the tissues surface of the tissue is called as the cilia. That's why it's called as ciliated epithelial tissue. It is the main function is to secrete the mucosa or to the movement of the mucosa. Then the stratified epithelial tissue. Stratified epithelial tissue is also called as the compound epithelial tissue. The stratified epithelial tissue, it consists the more than two layers of the cells, more than two or more than the two. Then the stratified epithelial tissue is classified into the four types: squamous epithelial tissue, cuboidal epithelial tissue, columnar epithelial tissue and the transitional epithelial tissue. First one, squamous epithelial tissue, it consists the two or more than two layers of the flat shaped cells. Then the columnar epithelial tissue are those tissues which consist the column like cells and which consist the more than two layers of the cells. Then the cuboidal epithelial tissue, the shape of the cells are like cube-like structures and having the more than two layers of the cells. Then the transitional epithelial tissues are those tissues which does not have any definite shape or the size. The transitional epithelial tissues contains the multi layers or the number of layers. Then the transitional epithelial tissue are said to be transitional because they undergoes to change the size and the shape as per the requirements. Then the transitional epithelial tissues are present onto the urinary bladder, urethra, then the uterus, etc. Then the main function of the transitional epithelial tissue, it is a relaxation, elasticity. Then the transitional epithelial tissue is present onto the urinary bladders to hold the urines. The transitional epithelial tissue is present onto the uterus to hold the fetus. Then the connective tissues. Connective tissues are those group of the cells which connects or supports the body organs or the other tissues into the body. Then the connective tissues are those tissues which gives the proper, which provides the support or the structures to the other tissues or the organs present into the body. Connective tissues are classified into the different types. The connective tissues are mainly classified into the 4 types. The proper connective tissues, then the cartilage, bones, and the blood. Then the first one, connective tissue proper, they are classified into the 2 types, that is loose connective tissues and the dense connective tissues. Loose connective tissues are again classified into the 3 types, that is first one reticular connective tissues, then the adipose connective tissues, and the first one and the adipose connective tissues are present onto the subcutaneous layers, and the main function of the adipose connective tissues to stores the stores the energy or provides the energy. And then the reticular connective tissues are those tissues which provide the supports to the body. They are present onto the spleens, etc. The main function of the reticular connective tissues to elasticity. Then the dense connective tissues provide the supports to the body. Then the dense connective tissues are the type of the tissues in which the cells are highly densely packed or the highly packed. In the dense connective tissues, the fiber number is high, then the cell content is less in the dense connective tissue as compared to the loose connective tissue. The dense connective tissues is classified into the regular connective tissue, irregular connective tissue, and the elastic connective tissue. Then the regular connective tissues are those tissues in which the bundle of the collagen fibers are arranged parallels to provide the strength to the tissues. The main function of the regular tissues to provide the supports or the elasticity, etc. And then the elastic connective tissue are the type of the dense connective tissue. Elastic connective tissues gives the elasticity to the tissues or to the organs. Then the irregular connective tissues are those tissues which in which the bundle of collagen fibers are arranged into the irregular shapes to provide the strength to the muscles or to provide the strength to the tissue. The main function is to provide the strength supports to the body and the body parts. Then the cartilage, the mature cells of the cartilage are called as the chondrocytes. Then the cartilage is classified into the hyaline cartilage, fibrocartilage, and the elastic cartilage. Hyaline cartilage, it is a bluish white color liquid. The hyaline cartilage present into the nose, parts of the larynx, pharynx, then the bronchi, bronchioles, trachea, etc. Then the fibrocartilage and the elastic cartilage. The main function of the elastic cartilage to provide the elasticity to the organs or the tissues. Then the bones are contains the bones or the bone marrow. Then the bones are classified into the 2 types. They are of the spongy and to the compacts. Then the bones provides the strength to the body or the it gives the structures to the body. Then the blood it is a one type of the connective tissue present onto the human's body. Then the blood it is a atypical type of the connective tissue, as they cannot bind with to the other organs or to the other liquids. Then then the blood it is a body fluid. Then the in the blood the nutrients and the oxygens are present. The blood provides nutrients and the oxygens to the human body. Then the muscle tissue it is a third type of the tissue. Then the muscle tissue comprises all the muscles into the body. The muscles tissue has the ability the muscle tissues have the ability to contract or relaxation as required for the body movement, or as per the contract or relaxed as per the body requirements. Then the muscular tissue is classified into the three types: skeletal muscles, cardiac muscles, and the smooth muscles. Skeletal muscles allows the bones and the anchors for the movements, bones and the tendons for the movements. Then the cardiac muscles present into the heart and to the kidney. Then the smooth muscles are present into the intestines. The smooth muscles are present into the blood vessels, etc. Then last one, it is a nervous tissue. Nervous tissues are those tissues which provides the impulses or transmit the impulses. Then the nervous tissues comprises the neurons, brain, spinal cords, and the peripheral nervous systems. Then the nervous tissue is made up from the neurons. Then the main functions of the nervous tissue, it is a memory, learning, then to control the voluntary actions, then to control the body functions, to protect the body functions, to transmit the signals, etc. Thank you.